This afternoon, we want to learn biology. When we say biology, before we go deeply into this subject, we need to know the word of biology. What do we call biology? Where did biology come from? When we say biology comes from from Greek. It is two words that combine together to form a words to be meaningful. When we say biology, biology means bio and ology. Bio and ology. What does the word bio mean? The meaning of bio is what? Is study. When we say bio means study, and ology mean what? Ology mean life. You know, that is, biology means study of life. Study of life. That is the word of biology. Biology means study of life. Now let's move forward. That is, we say biology simply be defined as the study of life. In other words, it is defined as the study of plant and animal. It's what? It's defined as the study of man, plants, and animal. When we say biology, we study the life, the plant, and the animal. That the entire the lifespan of the existence of human being, animal, life. This is what biology talk all about. Now you have know that biology is the study of life and also the study of animal and plant. So now we can move forward. Branches of biology. As a branch of biology, in branch of biology we have zoology. When we say zoology, zoology is the study of animal. Can you see now? And that is why you hear zoo. They will ask you, where are you going to? I want to go to zoo. What are they doing in zoo? The zoo is a way where they kept animal. Zoo is a place where they kept animal. So before we can say zoo, we must know that it is the word of biology that brought in what we call zoo. So, and that is why we have zoology. Zoology is the study of animal. That is, zoology is the study of what? Of animal. In other second words, we have botany. When we say botany involves the study of plants. Other branches include botany involve the study of plants. When we say botany, they study of plants. For instance, now as a cocoa farmer, you want your cocoa to germinate quickly and to bear good fruit in order to earn good income. What will you do? You look for the way out that you use to make the cocoa to germinate and produce efficiently. That is, you work hard, you add fertilizer, you do the surroundings, you make sure you cultivate the surroundings of that cocoa so that there will be good ventilation for that cocoa in order to germinate very well and produce good fruit. And that is why when we say botany means involve the study of plants and other branches. And the third one there we have ecology. When we say ecology involves the study of plants and animal, living things in relation to their environment. This is study of what? Plant, animal, living things and what? And relation to their environment. That is ecology. That is, this deal with plants is deal with animal. You know, you have been told that botany involves the study of plants and other branches. But when it comes to ecology, this deal with plants and animal. Because when it's animal, we have series of animal like lion, elephant, we have bear, sheep, goat, cow, we have cat, and many more. Now when we say bush animal, that is what would we call it? That is there we have mentioned lion, I mentioned elephant, there we have tiger, Also, we have Olibanja, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about this, all these are animal, and all these are studied in ecology. And also plant, the how plant is germinating, how plant is producing, how will affect plant in a way that will not affect the tree that produce the plant. All those things, this is what we call ecology. And another one there we have morphology. What I call it? Morphology. What I say morphology? Morphology involves the study of external feature of plant and animal. That is what morphology deal about. It deal with what? External feature of what? Of plant and animal. When we say this deal or involve the study of external feature of a plant and animal, it deal with all how everything concerning to this plant, to this animal, how everything concerning them, how it's going to end. And that is why biology is what brought science in. Biology is what brought technology. Without biology, there will be no technology. Without biology, there will be no science. And that is why, before we can mention science, we can mention technology, we have to mention biology. Because we must do research in biology to figure out your aim. Whatsoever you wanted to do, you must aim. That is what biology really deal with. You must aim. And now you do research, you figure out your outcome, what you really want. That is where you can say this is biology. And another one there we have physiology. When we say physiology, we also have anatomy. You have anatomy. Let's talk about anatomy first. Anatomy, this is another branches of biology which involve the study of internal structure of plant and animal. You know, we have been told that morphology deal with external, but this one anatomy deal with internal. Internal means the one inside, external means outside. Am I communicating? External means outside. Outside the animal, maybe the ear of the animal, maybe the ear, maybe the head, the external. But when it comes to internal, that is what we call anatomy. What is happening in their stomach, that is what everything concerning this deal with. When we say anatomy, that's it. This is another branches of biology involved, which the study of internal structure of plants and animal. So it's deal with internal, everything in their stomach, everything in them, what is inside them, anatomy deal with it. So we do research how they eat, how they vomit it and eat it back. That is animal. The internal of a plant, you can see that when we talk about timber, before we can figure out timber, before you can use timber to do what is it called, rough or whatsoever, pencil, that is internal wood. They have already peeled the external, that is the outer, the external of the wood have already peeled out. Now what is inside the wood is what they need. And when they bring it out, they use it to do experiments and figure out their aim in that internal issue, that internal stuff of that plant. But when it comes to animal, the animal dealing with the internal of animal, they are dealing with all the immune systems inside animal. Likewise, human being as well have it. So all the immune system inside the animal will be tested, must be tried to run experiment on and carry out their good or the what they want inside the experiment. Now we have physiology. I say physiology. Physiology involves the study of how plants and animal function. That is what we call physiology. It involves how plants and animal function. You know, in the beginning, when all this thing was created, God created them in a way that we human beings we are surprised. How could animal be living inside bush where there is big tree, that is plant? But now, when after they do research, they want to know what brought them together, how they can live, how they could be living together without having issue with each other. And that's why we have physiology. So how they are living together inside the bush is what accommodates them, how they are living together, while the animal, they also accommodate bush without having any issue together. They are living perfectly and peacefully. Now, that is what they say physiology. Physiology involves the study of how plants and animal function. How are they function? Their function. They said that is what we need to know. Their function on the land of living. Now, animals are walking from one place to another to eat, to search what they will eat. While plants are germinating by making the fruit to be do what? The root will begin to dig down inside the hole, looking for water to drink so that it will not die. And that is what is making them function on the land of living. Now, let's go to main work. Now we need to know the definition on and the usefulness of science. Now, definition and usefulness of science. Now, when we say science, what is science? Science is defined as a systematic process of making inquiry about the living and non-living things in our environment. What do I call it? As a science is defined as a systematic process of making inquiry about the living and non-living things in our environment. That is all what science is all about. Is deal with living things and non-living things, making an inquiry on them. Wanted to know how they are working together, how they are functioning, how they are living together without having any problem. So when we say science is defined as a systematic process. Systematic process, gathered process of making inquiry about the living things and the non-living things in our environment. Now, usefulness of science. How does science is useful for us? How does it useful for us? Could science be useful for human being? Now let us see how science has been useful for us so far from many decades. Now, the science has been put into many good use for the benefit of man. The usefulness of science find application in number one, medicine. It is science that make us to know that if we have this leaf together and this leaf together and run it in some machine and add this together, it can become medicine that we can be used to flush out all the bad things in our body, all the sickness in our body. It is science that let us know that when we have this and this and this together, then we can make a medicine so that we can take this medicine to make our body to flow, to work perfectly. So that is why science is very complex and it has been useful for us so far. So science is very, very important in our life, because without science we would have missed a lot of things. Without science we wouldn't have known what is a lot of things that is useful for us. We would have lose it. But because of science have let us carry out many testing or many that's helped us to carry out many things in a way that we do what that we ourselves will live conveniently. That is why it's science. Medicine, now it is science that make us to discover medicine. How do they discover medicine? Now when they begin to do their research, begin to finding solution. For instance, now maybe people have been dying of malaria. Malaria is what we know that is common to everyone in everywhere, and malaria has been killing many people. What would they do? This is where science will come in. And without biology, there will be no science. So biology is a father of science. Biology is the father of what? Of science. Now, science let us know that, let us do research. These things that have been killing people so far, what can we do to do what? To eradicate them, to eliminate them, to delete them away. Then they begin to do research. That is where science comes in. Okay, this is what caused this sickness. This is what caused these symptoms. Okay, this is what we could do. If you add this leaf, this leaf, this leaf, if you add it together and run it into tablets, if people take it, this can cure all this sickness and they will be well. Okay, and that is why science is very, very usefulness in that time of medicine. Secondly, now they say, now medicine, what do we call medicine? Science has contributed greatly to the manufacture of vaccine and the drug that are used today to cure various diseases of man. Can you see now? It has been useful, science. We use science to manufacture medicine. Let's say, for instance, during the COVID-19, when after COVID-19 have killed so many people, now the America discovered that what could they do to make people live so that this COVID-19 will not kill everybody. Now the what is it called? India, they think that what could they do that will make them to rescue these people from this sickness of COVID-19. And what do they go do? They do research. That's what we call science. They do research and figure out that there is vaccine that you can do that people can use to cure this thing. After they give information, okay, you give distance, do this and that, and they do what? They do vaccine. They do the vaccine to be cure these diseases. And that is why science is very, very important in human life. Now, second is the manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry. When we say manufacturing industry, various raw material have been combined to manufacture many finished. Can you see now? That is where we combine materials together. It is manufacturing industry is where we brought all the materials together to do what? To end at the end needs. They manufacture the material, the processes to bring out what we want. So it's many finished products commonly used by man. That is, in other words, we say manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry, this is various raw material have been combined to manufacture many finished products commonly used by men. In our manufacturing industry is where we manufacture all the products that we have been using today through science, through biology. Now, another one there we have construction. Can you see now? Can you see what science have brought into human life? Can you see how science have made human life to be perfect and gorgeous? Science have made everything perfectly, everything move smoothly. Now, they say construction. When we say construction, how do we construct? So construction, they say road, railway, airport, etc. They construct all these things by doing research. That is by doing science. That is how they construct. Okay, let us do this. Look at this drainage. Okay, if you do this drainage like this, the water will be able to do what? To pass through that drainage. Then let us do what? Let us do the road perfectly. Okay, this is how we are going to do the road that will last for 10 years. This is what we are going to use that will not make people to be having accidents on that road. Okay, let us make trailer road once somewhere else and the other vehicle road in another place so that there will not be accidents. What brought that to human exist is science. And another one, they said, have been designed and constructed as a result of the knowledge derived from science. 4. Engineering. When we say engineering, it is science that brought thought of engineering. before they can call someone engineering, the person have do series of research, have do a lot of research, and he has know how to put this and this together that will make it to work. And that's engineering. Shipbuilding, can you see? Skyscraper, bridge, road have been designed and constructed due to the knowledge acquired from science. Can you see now? That is why we have engineering. The knowledge that they have acquired from science is what brought them to become an engineering today, that they are doing what? Manufacturing road, doing bridge, doing ship, doing aeroplane, aircraft, and many more. So science has brought a lot of development into human life. Another one, we have agriculture. When we say agriculture, they say new breed of animal and variety of crops, including fertilizer, have been developed, and these have helped to increase food production. That is what agriculture has brought into our life. But before we can mention agriculture, we mention science. Now, agriculture has been exist before science, but it is not wide. Agriculture that has been exist before science is not well go viral. So they are just doing it as local one. It is local agriculture because they couldn't add fertilizer, they couldn't use machine to develop this type of agriculture. But when science comes into agriculture, science brought a lot of things into agriculture status. Science brought of things. What do they brought? Part of it is what is cutlass, chemical, and many more. They brought of things to agriculture to make it to be easy for the farmer. They have plow, cultivating machine. What brought this into agriculture is science, because without science, there will be no taking of using plow to cultivate land. There will be no taking of using chemical to do what? To cultivate land until you spray all on those plow, on those grass, so that they will not germinate. But science has brought all this into agriculture, and it has made it wide today. In other words, we have technology. Can you see now? Science, what? We have technology. So science has helped in the development of computer. Can you see now? Well, today, it is a pity today. If you go outside there, you will see people, maybe they are repairing phone. You can tell them, okay, the name of our venture is Olatech, Yemi Tech. You don't even know what they call tech. When we say technology, technology cannot stand on its own without science. It is science that brought technology into human life exists. It is science that let us know that we can do things in a way that will be convenient for us. And that is why they brought technology. Now, when they say technology, science has helped in the development of computer that have enhanced the efficiency of making mankind in their activities. Now, today, if they want to send message to London, ever before science come in, they will write letter, take it to post office. It may take 3 months before it get to the decoder. But today, it is a thing you can just type on your phone and send direct. Before you know, your message has arrived at London. What brought it into existence? It is science. And science, this is technology inside science. By using computer, you type on computer and you print out all what you need. So all these things has helped human being in terms of science existence. In other words, we have communication. When we say communication, how do we communicate with other people in another place? We communicate in a serious place. We communicate through radio, we communicate through television, we communicate through phone, and many more. We communicate through taser and fast machine.